Hey there, Megan here. I have a sewing studio in Hoboken, New Jersey called Embroidered Designs. And today's video, we're going to be making these adorable embroidered felt Valentines. And all you need is some felt, some embroidery floss, an embroidery hoop, some fabric for the hoop, some scissors, and of course a needle. Start by removing the center from the embroidery hoop and place your fabric. I'm using a pink linen. Place that on the center hoop, then place the adjustable hoop on top of that and tighten it so you've got a nice tight piece of fabric on the embroidery hoop. Next, we're going to take our pieces of felt. The first one will be the largest heart, and that's about a 5 by 5 inch square. I'm literally just folding it in half and freestyling a cute little heart by folding the felt and cutting half a heart, opening it up, and there it is. That next piece of fabric is about felt is about 3 by 3, and I'm doing the same thing, just freestyling a little heart to put on top of the pink one. And then the final one is the red piece of felt. That's about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Again, cutting the little tiny center heart to go right on top of the white one, like that. Okay. So next we're gonna grab some embroidery floss. Doesn't matter what color, but I'm starting with a darker color heart, so I decided to go with a lighter color embroidery floss. I'm pulling off a piece about as large or as long as my arm span. I'm gonna thread my large-eyed pointy embroidery needle. Doesn't matter what size, as long as you can get the embroidery floss through the needle hole. And then I've placed the largest heart in the center of my embroidery hoop with the linen on it. So starting from behind, I'm going to come up through the linen and through the felt, and then I'm going to come down about 1/4 inch away from my starting stitch. And then I'm going to come back up about 1/4 inch from where I went down, and so on and so forth. So this is called a running stitch. And you're just going up and down, and every single time you come up, you pull the thread so you have no thread that isn't pulled all the way to the end, and then you go back down and do the same thing. So I'm kind of sped up the video here for you so you can see what's happening, but I'm staying about 1/2 inch from the edge of the heart until I get back down to where I've started. Now, I'm placing the medium-sized white heart in the middle, and I'm actually just using a little needle to stabilize the heart onto my embroidery hoop. This time I'm going to use a red embroidery floss to sew the white heart on. About an arm span's length of embroidery floss, thread the needle. Don't double it, just keep it a single strand. And we're going to do the chain stitch on this one. So come up right at the bottom, or actually it doesn't matter where you come up. I guess I've started a little bit over here. We're going to come up, we're going to pull it all the way, then we're going to come down in the exact same spot and pop the needle out about 1/2 inch in front. But before you pull that needle all the way out, wrap the thread in front of the needle. It's like you're kind of looping it around the front of it, like I'm doing here. And then slowly pull the thread through, and you'll see it's going to catch the beginning part of that loop, and sort of it shows you the loop. Then I'm going back down in the same spot, wrapping the thread around again and pulling to make my second link in the chain. Doing it again, coming down in the same spot, popping it out 1/2 inch in front, wrapping that thread around and pulling. And you're going to do the same thing over and over around the edge of the white heart. So the easiest thing to forget here is when you come up from the bottom and then go back down, you're literally going to go in the same spot. And then you pop it out in front, like I'm doing right here, wrap it until you get to the end. And that's the chain stitch. Now I am going to thread my last color of embroidery floss. I'm putting the pink on there, and I think I've got every strand except one, so I do my little trick where I can get that last strand to come through. Once I do that, I go to the end of the thread, I knot it with my little tailor's knot. There we go. And we're gonna start from the bottom once again. So I'm gonna come up this time. This is gonna be kind of like a ladder stitch, but it's also sort of like a running stitch. But you'll see as I get going, I'm gonna come up just through the bottom tip of the heart. And then I'm gonna go straight down and go back to the back, but through only the white. So it's gonna cross the edge of the red heart. And then I'm gonna come up on the heart. Oh no, I'm coming up. I guess it's a little easier to see. Come up back on the white and then go onto the heart. Advance about 1/4 of an inch on the white, back down through the heart. White, heart, back down. So it's kind of doing these parallel running stitches all around the edge of the heart until I get back down to the bottom where I do the last and final stitch. I flip it over and I'm going to tie my knot. So I'm going underneath one of the stitches, and before I pull it all the way through, I go through that loop. Same thing. I always double knot it. I cut my thread, flip it over, and there you have it. And then I just also wanted to point out, you could also do some chain stitches around the edge to make it even prettier. And those are the adorable felt and embroidered Valentines. I hope you decide to make one and let me know what you think.